Hey, welcome to my channel. My name is Ken and I'm on a journey to lose as much weight as I possibly can so I can become a fat guy no more. Well, holy Moses, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. 2024 is almost over. Can you believe it? Where did this year go? I want to say that this last year has been fast. Then again, I remember sitting in Chicago. Actually, I was in Barrington, Illinois, just in the burbs of Chicago in the greater Chicagoland area. Shout out to everybody up there. On New Year's Eve, 1999. Yeah, I remember the whole Y2K scare. Do you guys remember that? Comment down below if you remember it and what you were doing at that moment. I was with some friends in the town of Barrington, and man, I totally remember all that, the whole scare, everything. I remember watching the time zones as they went through the rest of the world from Sydney on, I think it was. I remember when they went through Russia and then through Europe, and I remember watching everything and just waiting for something bad to happen, right? I mean, they swore that computers were going to freak out and the power grids were going to go down, all that good stuff. And then once it came time for midnight in the Eastern time zone in New York, we watched the ball drop and everything was fine. So then we celebrated in the Central time zone just like I'll do this year. Back then, that was only the second time that I ever celebrated New Year's outside of the Pacific Standard Time. So Washington State, to be more specific. That was always home. But one time in 1983, I was right here in the state of Oklahoma, up in northeast Oklahoma in a town called Pitcher, which, by the way, no longer exists. In May of 2008, it was wiped off the face of the earth by an EF4 tornado. That's for another story. Sure, we'll talk stories because I'm already getting that itch to go storm chasing. So come storm season in March, I'm sure we'll talk about that. But there was that time, and then 25 years ago on New Year's Eve when I was in Chicago, I remember being told to bundle up. It's going to be the coldest ever. Come to find out, it was like 70 degrees. I don't know, man, something like that. We went for a walk on New Year's Day. I was wearing shorts and a t-shirt. It was absolutely fantastic. So before I jump into what my New Year's plans might be this year, let me say thank you so much for coming by and watching this video. As always, if you haven't hit that subscribe button down below, please do that for me. I would appreciate it. Thank you so much. And if you would, drop me a comment, give me the big old thumbs up, help that algorithm out. The more you do that, the more that this video will be seen. So I appreciate you so much. Thank you. So again, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Do you have any plans? Is there something that you do every year on New Year's Eve that, I mean, like every year, tradition, right? Is there something that you do or maybe something you avoid? Maybe you don't want to go out with the public and do that, be out with the crazies, those that really don't drink that much throughout the year and then go wild on New Year's Eve. Maybe that's your thing. Did you grow up watching Dick Clark? Are you into watching Ryan Seacrest now? What do you do for New Year's Eve? Comment down below and let me know. As for me, I have one tradition that continues, and it's continued since 1983. I watch the most horrible, I'm talking horrible slasher flick ever. But it's tradition, so I watch it every year. It's called New Year's Evil. I mean, it's bad. It's bad, but I like the music. I like just the whole premise. It makes me smile. It's the only day of the year that I will watch it, and that's on New Year's Eve. So it is something that I definitely do, and I will again tomorrow, without question. That's for sure. My wife thinks it's stupid because it is a terrible movie, but I still enjoy it every single year. And again, I have since 1983. So what is that, like 41 years now I've been watching that movie? So every year, without fail, on New Year's Eve, I watch it. And this year will be no different. Other than that, we really don't have any plans as of yet, at least. Last year, we went to the Thunder game. We had tickets to go see the Oklahoma City Thunder. They played the Brooklyn Nets last year. This year, they'll play the Minnesota Timberwolves. Really wanted to go to the game, but as of right now, tickets are just too expensive, so I'm not touching them. We'll see what happens. Maybe as the game gets closer, I might be able to change my mind on that. Who knows, honestly, but it would be fun. I'd love to go down. We wanted to make that our new yearly tradition because they do have a traditional home game on New Year's Eve every year. So I thought that might be something fun. Last year, we were able to get tickets. This year, right now, like the cheapest for where we'd want to sit is about $110. And there's no chance. You've heard me talk about it. I don't like to pay prices like that. You've seen the prices I've paid. I've actually showed that on here. $11, $12, $13. I did $25 for one. That's more my speed. Not paying triple digits just to get to a basketball game. We can watch it at home, still have fun, that's for sure. We do have some traditional foods that we like to make on New Year's. My wife is really big into making these stuffed jalapenos. If you remember my video from last year, I swear I was only going to have one or two. Ended up eating quite a few more. Well, this year, I'm making my own. She's going to make hers, and I'm sure I'll probably have one or two of them. One, maybe two. That's going to be it, because I'm going to make my own this year. I'm going to make them much less salty, much better for me. And I'm going to make them vegan this time. So looking forward to doing that. So they are just a pickled jalapeno that you cut open and you stuff it with, in her case, a cream cheese mixture with cheese and green onions, I believe it is, if I remember right. This year, I'm going to make mine with a tofu mixture and some vegan cheese that I'll make. And then, of course, the green onions, right? Get that diced up, get it all mixed up, stuff them in there. I think that'll be amazing. Be a decent amount of protein for each one of those. And since I pickled the jalapenos myself, I know that there's no sodium in it. So it's just whatever the natural sodium is in the pepper. So I think they're going to be amazing. A couple other things that I plan to make. One is a vegan cheese ball. First time I'm making it. I'm really looking forward to it. Serve it with some veggies like some slices of red pepper and maybe some celery. And then of course on New Year's Day, every year since I was a kid, my mom used to make them and now I do. It's a tradition, Hoppin' Johns. So I'll be making my own. Of course I don't make it with any kind of meat in it. Maybe I'll throw some vegan sausage in it this year. We'll see what I've got. But traditionally just the beans and the rice, right? So the black-eyed peas, I guess I should say. So I'll be making it. I absolutely love doing that every year on New Year's. So we'll do that and we'll watch some football. We'll just hang out, enjoy the day off, the paid day off, thank goodness, from work, and just chill. So is there any specific foods that you like to make for New Year's? And have you found a way to make them just a little bit healthier? Or are you just going to just chalk it up to YOLO? You only live once and just have what you want and enjoy it. Let me know down below. I'm thinking about doing another video where I talk about New Year's resolutions. I typically don't make any New Year's resolutions, but this coming year I think there's a few things that I want to look forward to. Call them resolutions or call them milestones that I hope to pass, whatever it might be. There are a few things that I'm looking forward to, and one of those things is getting better with meal prep. You know, if I've got something made, something where I can just pull it out of the fridge and heat it up in the microwave, I'm good to go, always. But when I don't, that's when I start running into problems. So it's been a while because I've been doing much better at this, but I need to get even better. Especially because as my weight goes down, it does make it harder to lose weight every week kind of thing, you know, and I'd be happy with a pound or two per week on average, but sometimes that doesn't work. And I think a lot of that is because what I have, you know, I might end up having something that's got a little bit more salt in it or something. And I don't know, sometimes, you know, just like the other night, my wife wanted pizza. I said, okay. So I only had just two slices of pizza, but the sodium was insane. And that's just how it goes. I mean, it happens. You got to live too, right? So our trip to Tulsa, we had a great time. I'll talk about that in another video. But, you know, it's one of those things when you're eating out, you know, you can't really be prepared always. So when I'm at home, I need to make sure that I'm doing exactly what I need to do to be able to stay on course. Now, again, I've said it many times, no food is off limit for me. Nothing. It doesn't matter what it is. I just try to make better choices. I don't want to be eating restaurant food all the time. I don't want to be ordering in all the time. And again, I haven't even done stuff like Uber Eats or DoorDash or any of that in a long time. I think I talked about that in my last video. I try to stay away from that stuff. So I literally have not done any of that. Now we did pizza. My wife ordered direct. The truth is, the story behind that is just a few days ago was our 3rd anniversary of the day we got here into town in Oklahoma City when we moved down here back in 2021. That night I introduced her to a place called Mazio's, or some people pronounce it Mazio's, however you pronounce it here in the Oklahoma City area. I introduced her to it, and so it's one of those things that's just kind of a tradition to have it on that night. And so we did, you know. I know what it's going to do to me. I know exactly what it did to me, but I'm okay. And the fact that it was past my official weigh-in, I'm all right. Gives me a whole week to be ready for my next weigh-in. So that even made it better, honestly, since it lined up that way. We'll see what it does to me next week. But again, one of my biggest things is I want to meal prep better. And so to be ready for that, there's things that I know I can make in advance, like my tofu breakfast burrito. So let me show you a video here of me preparing those. I think I got like 16 of those in a batch. And now I know I'm going to be set and ready to go. So let me show you that video. Man, I just love these breakfast burritos. I like to pack them with as much veggies as I can. This time around, I'm going to use some onions, some red bell pepper, and some mushroom. So the first thing I want to do is prep the veg, right? So it's as simple as easy as, dicing everything up. Some of these onions are, I don't know, the skins are really, really hard on here for some reason. So it took me a little bit to get them off of there. But then the best way I know how to dice something is not like I used to do when I was in a restaurant. So use my chopper here, right? But that blade is getting a little dull. It might be time to get a new one. So that's why I'm having to pound on it. And even at that, some of these skins, look at that. See, I told you they were a little tough. They really didn't want to get through there. I don't know if they're tough or maybe, like I said, the blade's getting dull. But it gives a good uniform dice on it. So that's why I keep using it. Because look at that. That just looks great. So the next thing up is the red bell pepper. And I do pretty much the same thing. Just get rid of the core here and the pith there. And then I cut it up into littler pieces that'll fit onto my chopper. I just love chopping vegetables. I don't know. There's something relaxing about it for me. So that's probably why I love being in the kitchen, love doing stuff. And then, of course, I can take out my aggression by beating the heck out of this chopper, right? That makes a lot of fun. That lets me get out some anger if I have any anger issues. But, again, I use it mostly because look at the uniformity there. With the mushrooms, you can, literally, because I have before, cut them into pieces and then run them through the chopper. But this time, I'm going to use the food processor. Makes it a lot easier. Yep, see, quick and easy, right? Running it through the food processor like that using the slicer attachment makes it easy. The key thing to me about using those two things again is uniformity. As you can see, you got thin sliced mushrooms here. Uniformity. The main reason why I want pieces like this is once they get cooked and we start stuffing the burritos, you don't want to have large pieces. So now let's get these into the skillet. Got a skillet over here on high. For now, I'm going to throw in a bunch of each of these. I'm going to use some of those onions and red bell peppers for another recipe later on tonight. So that's why I didn't put them all in there. But you just want to let the onions and peppers just kind of sit there for a little bit till they get heated through. Don't want them to become mush because we're going to add those mushrooms here in a moment. Then we're going to let it all cook, let it all steam down a little bit, right? So that's one of the things that you have to look for depending upon what you want. Now I don't mind my veggies being a little bit crunchy because I know when I go to heat up the burrito, it's going to steam it just a little bit more as well. So it'll cook through even a little more after that. But as you can see, I keep stirring it, make sure that it does not stick. Now it's time to add that pound of mushrooms. Yeah, lots of mushrooms. Good phytochemicals in there, phytonutrients. Good stuff for you, mushrooms. If you don't eat mushrooms, you should be eating more mushrooms because they are amazing for the body. But these will cook down, and once they're looking good, leave the lid off of it because we don't want a whole lot of moisture in with this because we don't want moisture in with the burrito, right? So just let it keep cooking until that moisture runs off. Now, I do like to add a can of drained kidney beans. For some freaking reason, I've got my camera upside down or something. I don't know, so I apologize for that. But once I drain it, add those in here too. Adds a little bit more protein and a lot more fiber, which is good. So we'll just cook this down. And once it's ready, then we'll start adding our spices to it. I like to throw in some granulated garlic, as well as some red pepper flakes. Those will give a really good flavor to this and a little bit of heat. And then the last thing I want to add is some potassium chloride. Now, if you've watched any of my other cooking videos, you'll know that I don't use a whole lot of salt. So I use potassium chloride. It's a great salt replacement. It's good for you. I mean, potassium, as long as you don't have kidney issues, potassium is really good for you. The more you can have in a day, we need to have at least 47 milligrams per day. I'm targeting around 6,000. So I like to add potassium chloride because it's good for you, as well as it adds a good salty taste to it. So we'll let these cook down. As you can see, there's still plenty of water on there, so they need to cook down just a little bit more, and we'll let them go. And we'll turn the temperature down some, and we'll stir it occasionally just to get those flavors to all meld together. And while that's finishing up, it's time to go get the star of the show ready. That's right, the tofu. So I was at Costco just the other day, and they had this box of 4 packs here of firm tofu. Now, usually I like extra firm or super firm, but for what I'm using it for here, this will work out great. And it was much cheaper than buying it at, say, like Walmart or Winco, right? So what you want to do is you want to crumble it. You can see I've already got 3 of them done, but look how easy this is to crumble. So you just want to, break it apart. I mean, that can't be any easier. Now, if you've never used tofu before, I will say each one of those packs are filled with water. It's stored in water, so you want to drain it off first and then crumble it. To it, we want to add some turmeric. Turmeric is one of those spices that are great for you. And then we'll add some nutritional yeast and some potassium chloride. Of course, the potassium chloride to give us a little more potassium, but as well as a salty flavor to it. Nutritional yeast, Nooch as it said on there, is vegan crack. It is amazing and filled with protein. So I added a little bit more of that turmeric to give me a little bit yellower color because I want it to kind of resemble eggs. And as we can see here now in the skillet, it's starting to look more like scrambled eggs, right? So we're cooking it down. Now, of course, we don't really need to do this, but I wanted to be able to take some more of that water off of it, make it a little bit thicker. It'll stiffen up as it goes over time, but you want to stir it from time to time. Make sure that it doesn't actually stick to the pan and burn. So while it's doing its thing, let's get the potatoes ready. Yeah, I like to use yellow potatoes here. So I just want to cut them up, dice them up a little bit into bite-sized pieces. I could have run this through my chopper, but these are a lot easier to chop up, right? And of course, like I said, my blade's not the sharpest, so I just give it a good working over with the knife, just little pieces. Then I'm going to air fry these, so they'll shrink up some, so you don't want them to be too small, right? Not like little hash brown pieces. Though, of course, if you don't want to do this, from fresh like this, you can just buy a bag of frozen hash browns. A little bit of potassium chloride in there, and some Nooch to give it a little bit of flavor. And then we just want to stir it around, toss those potato pieces around, make sure they all get covered. And then into the air fryer they go. And once they come out, I like to weigh it, make sure how much I've got. As we can see from here, this came up with 13.1 ounces. So then back over to our tofu mixture we go. And the one last thing I want to add is some kala namak. This is also known as black salt. It is very heavy in sodium, so I don't use a whole lot of it because I really don't want the salt in here. But this imparts an almost sulfur taste, so almost eggy taste. So it's absolutely amazing, especially in tofu scrambles, or as this is going to be in my burrito here. So once we get it done, we're going to want to put this in something so we can let it chill completely. So I'll take it and the veggies and I'll toss them into the fridge until they're completely chilled because we don't want that steam inside our burrito. So once all the components have chilled completely, then it's time to assemble them. So I actually have that bowl of the tofu mixture there sitting on a scale, so I know exactly how much I want because I want to make sure I've got an even amount of tofu in each one of my 16 burritos that I'll be making. So I measure it out exactly, and then I grab a scoop, maybe 2 of the vegetable mixture. That's not as big of a deal because, it's filler, right? It's not hardly any calories. And then a small handful of the potatoes. And now the hard part for me, especially these first couple, I always have a hard time rolling these things. They're pretty full, so once you wrap in your sides like that, notice how I'm spreading out my hands and trying to go quick. Yeah, I lost a couple potatoes there. No big deal. We'll just stick them back in, right? But then you want to fold the flaps in so we can get a good lock here on this roll. And then just roll it over until it's tight. It's that easy to make these burritos. Then I have these wax paper sheets that I got off of Amazon. I think they ended up coming up to be like a penny or two each. They're perfect for these. So I just roll it up, set it aside, and then I make the rest of them. Now I'm not going to show you making all 16 of them, but I will show you a couple more here. So again, I have that tofu on a scale, so I measure out exactly how much I want. I think it was like 4.6 ounces for these, honestly. And then I just put on everything else in and then roll it. See, this one wasn't too bad. I lost a bean there. Flip those corners in, roll it over the rest of the way, and then wrap it up in the wax paper. Let's see that one more time, just because. Let's see if I actually get any better at this. So measure out the tofu. That stuff is really good. It smelled so good. I can't wait to have breakfast. And then a little bit of the veggies. And finally, the potatoes. Now, I don't use cheese. You can use cheese if you want. To me, cheese in a burrito like this, it's a good binder, right? But I don't taste it. And it's just a lot of calories and a lot of salt. So I don't put them in there. So wrap it up and away we go. So then the way I serve this is when I'm in the building at work, I just pop it in the microwave for about a minute and a half or so. But when I'm at home, I like to toast it. So as you can see, I broke out one of my comals today, got it nice and hot, and I'm just going to toss that burrito on there. Wait just a little bit, and oh yeah, look at that. Now, I don't know about you, but to me, the flavor is so much better when the burrito is toasted like this. So you can do it as much or as little as you want. See, I got it on the back side. Now we'll set it upright to get this other side here. And then we'll flip it over. And that thing is hot. Yeah, I should have been smarter than that. But when you're holding the camera in one hand and trying to do it with the other, it's a little bit difficult. But there it is. So now it's time to get that sucker plated up, because that is goodness right there for breakfast. Get it onto that spatula here, so now I can bring it over and put it on my plate. It's only missing one thing at this point, and that's some of my homemade salsa verde. Told you I could eat that stuff on just about anything. Now again, when I take these to work, I just take a bottle of my homemade hot sauce, eat it with that. It's awesome. Don't even need either one of those two, honestly, but it sure does complement this well. So yeah, I freaking love those things. So once they're thawed, all you got to do is pop them in the microwave. Just leave them in that wax paper, right? That's all I do. Pop it in there for about 2 minutes on average. They're nice and hot. Now, truthful, I'm not a big fan of it that way because it kind of makes that tortilla a little bit soggy. It's still really good, don't get me wrong. But as you saw when I'm at home, I like to pop that on my comal, crisp it up on all sides, at least the top and bottom, if not all around. And I think it just makes an absolutely better burrito. It's got that crispy side. And the flavor that it imparts with the toasted tortilla like that just makes it so much better, especially when you're having a little bit of salsa with it. Oh, you just absolutely can't go wrong. So let's take a look at the numbers for that tofu burrito. Now this is without the salsa. This is just the burrito by itself. It comes in at 428 calories. There is a whopping 518 milligrams of sodium in it. So I do make sure that if I'm having one of those, I'm being low sodium on the rest of the day. So if I know I'm going to need some salt for the day, I have no problem having one of those. Because again, 518 milligrams, that's almost half of what I really like to have in a full day in one meal. So I have to be safe with that. But I'm okay with that. A lot of that is the tortilla, and that's fine. It's got just over 7 grams of fiber, just a scotch over 22 grams of protein, and a whopping 1,113 milligrams of potassium. So yeah, those things are absolutely amazing. The only thing that I would really suggest if you're going to make them yourself is make sure that the tortillas you get are good and fresh. Make them yourself if you can, honestly. I just have never done too well with flour tortillas. It's rolling it out right. I've never done it worth a darn. I mean, I've got a couple different comals that would work good for me, but I just haven't been able to roll out a decent tortilla to make a wrap like that. Now, corn tortillas for tacos, yeah, all day long. I could do that without a question. But flour tortillas for wraps, I've never been good at. So I don't know. So I just buy them at the store. I know it's a little bit higher in sodium, but I just plan ahead, plan accordingly, and I'm usually pretty good. But you want to make sure that those tortillas are good and soft, so they're better, pliable, easier to roll up. I wish I would have showed you the difference between some of those older ones that I had and then some of the newer, fresher tortillas. I mean, it makes all the world of difference. So make sure you've got that. And if you make these, let me know. Come back and comment. Let me know. I know a lot of you are thinking, ooh, tofu. Yeah, well, again, you barely know it's tofu, especially if you add that black salt to it. It gives it that eggy flavor to it. These things are absolutely fantastic. They're healthy. They're full of fiber. It's a good thing. It's a very good thing and a hell of a way to start your morning. So give it a try. So let's take a look at this week's numbers. As we could see, I came in at 1,264 calories. Yeah, I target 1,300, so I was barely under, but that really doesn't tell the story of this week. This week was a struggle. I mean, an absolute struggle. As I think I mentioned last week, I skipped my shot. If I didn't mention that, I did, maybe? I don't know. Either way, I took 12.5 milligram shots from the compound version. Took those 2 weeks in a row, and then this last week, oh, no. There was just no way. I mean, I was struggling to get food in. I was having to go to higher calorie things. And of course, when you go to higher calorie, it doesn't necessarily give you all of the other things you need, like we'll see here in a moment, right? But yeah, I was struggling, so I skipped a week. Now, I will this week, New Year's Day, for sure. I will take a shot. There's no doubt about it. But I did skip that previous week because it just wasn't happening. I mean, I was struggling to get food in, and that's not good either. So I need to figure out a way to either lower my dose so I can take it more regularly, or maybe go back even with the compound, taking it a shot every couple weeks. The only reason I don't want to do that, and I think I discussed that in my compound video, have you seen that one? Is because I don't know how long it'll stay good in that vial once it's punctured, right? Several people did comment below, with 28 days after the BUD date. Other people said you're perfectly fine even longer than that. It's just going to make it a little bit weaker. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm ready to play that game yet and find out. But if I could take a vial of the 12.5 milligram and take just 10 milligrams at a time out of that, so that gives me 5 shots instead of 4, and I could stretch those out a little bit longer, I'd be damn skippy. But I just don't know if I'm ready to take that chance yet. As I said, we'll find out. So as we can see from the rest of my numbers, I came in at 82 grams of protein per week. It's not horrible. Not horrible at all. As a matter of fact, I might be looking at the idea of maybe dropping back again to about 75 to 80. And if I do that, that's actually quite good. So we'll just have to see. But for right now, I do show a target of 90. So I did come in under that. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not complaining about that. Not at all. But as you can see from my fiber came in at 34, which is damn low for me. I target 40. I like to say I like to be closer to 50. But I've also said many times, as I'm sure you can probably repeat back to me, anything 35 and above I'm happy with. So this definitely came in lower than what I like. I don't know. Again, it's just what I was eating. Trying to grab calories, honestly, to get that calorie up there. And I still fell short of that 1,300 mark, and I fell short here on the fiber. So I don't know. We'll have to figure it out. I'd like to just chalk it up to the holidays, but I really don't know about that either. My sodium came in at 871 milligrams. Again, I need to get that up even higher. Talked about wanting to be in the 1100 to 1200 range, so I'm definitely lower than what I should be, but in my opinion I'd rather be a little bit lower than be too high, that's for sure. And then my potassium came in at 6,834. Yeah, finally something on that list that actually came in where it should be. That's absolutely fantastic. So with that said, what did it do for me on the scale? Well, just like the last couple weeks, come Monday, I found myself up 5 pounds. I'm not doing anything different. I don't know what it is. I don't know. Maybe it's because my days off are Thursday, Friday. So I'm up and more active, doing stuff. And then come Saturday, I'm sitting at a desk again for the majority of the day. So Saturday and Sunday goes by like that. And then maybe that's why I've been up on the scale. I don't know. But then as it went through the week, it started dropping again. And by Wednesday, I was looking good. I was getting happy. And then come Friday, the scale showed the same as it did on Wednesday. I'm not complaining at all because I dropped 1 pound. 1 pound. So I'm down to 346. That puts me at 249 pounds lost. 249. 214 pounds lost with the shot. Man, so close to that 250 pound loss mark. I can almost taste it. I want it so bad. I was really hoping to have that by Friday morning after being down even that 1 pound and just being 1 measly pound away. You know, by Wednesday morning, I was there at that 1 pound away, and I really thought maybe I could get it. It didn't happen. That's just the way it goes. But I'm going to take it. So I am ending my month of December then. Remember when I started this month, I mentioned if I could be even or maybe slightly down, I would be happy. Well, I'm ending this month now down 8 pounds. So the first week I lost a pound. Second week I lost 3 pounds. Then I lost 3 pounds. Then I lost another pound. That's a grand total of 8 pounds in this month. I can't complain about that one bit. I mean, I'm damn skippy. The thought that I lost 8 pounds during the month of December, you know, wow. I mean, so that actually means from Thanksgiving through now, I threw a goose egg, lost a pound, 331. Yeah. So for the holidays, I'm officially down 8 pounds overall. Not going to complain about that at all. As a matter of fact, that's something to be celebrated. So if you lost during this holiday season, drop me a comment down below. Let me know that you did too. But I also want to celebrate everybody who feels like they've done good, regardless of what the scale says. So if you feel that way, let me know as well, so I can give you some praise as well, because that's the name of the game. I'm happy where I'm at, but I got a lot of weight to go. And I've got to make some changes, and I understand that. So coming into 2025, I'm going to be making a few changes. I'm going to start doing some things more regularly, because that's what I need to do. I need to get more regimented, because I can't just expect, like I used to, that as long as I eat what I'm supposed to, that the weight will drop off. I'm going to need to start getting more active, and that's my plan. But that's for another video. I'm going to talk about that at another time. Part of those resolutions, part of that, you know, looking forward to 2025. So again, tomorrow is New Year's Eve. Holy Moses. So the next time we talk, it will be 2025 already. I'm just blown away. Absolutely blown away. So thank you so much for spending your time with me here. I appreciate every single one of you that come by and watch these videos. Every one of you that comments, any kind of comment that you drop below. I appreciate the conversation, being able to talk back and forth. Doesn't matter who you are, conversation is always a good thing. So thank you so much for spending your time here with me, and Happy New Year to you and your family. And you know what? Not only will I see you in the next one, I'll see you in 2025. Happy New Year. Thanks for watching. If you'd like to follow me on my journey to become a fat guy no more, hit that subscribe button, and don't forget to hit that bell so you can get notifications every time I upload a new video.